Hey guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. So today I wanted to talk to you about how I have learnt, I'm still learning, but through experiences in my life, how I've differentiated intuition and my ego trying to get control and a grasp of things. So I'll explain a little bit on what I understand as intuition and ego first. So intuition to me is that internal knowing, like you just, almost like that little voice, that whisper, that thing that you feel compelled to do for whatever reason. You don't know why. You have no, there's not necessarily been any logical thinking to it, but perhaps you've been sat at home all day and uh, that voice maybe in the mornings like, oh, you've got to have this conversation with your, I don't know, one of your work colleagues or your boss for whatever reason, and maybe it's like a confrontation and you're actively like, I don't want to do that, and then you notice it pops up again midday and it's a bit louder this time. It's like, no, come on, you need to do this, you need to do something about it. You ignore it again and it gets louder and louder until the point where it becomes like overwhelming. At least that's been my experience. Ego is your logical, quote unquote monkey mind trying to keep control, trying to logically figure something out, to try and have an understanding, predict what's going to happen if you do this, if you do that, and it can cause spiraling, overthinking, all the above. So that's your intuition and that's your ego, how I would explain it. Now, to tell the difference and the feeling behind it, I would say that your intuition is like as I said before, like a compulsion. It's like an inner voice, an inner thing that is speaking to you to confront or access something that you've maybe been ignoring. As we all do. I mean, it's a part of us that's trying to guide us to further our development, our journey in this life. And what can happen is, say, say if it's to do with shadow work, for example, and your ego has actively been protecting you from this, and now that you're trying to fix something, your ego is going to come in and try and be like, oh, but you don't need to do this because this doesn't make sense and it's not linked with this, and that will cause problems over here. And it's like your brain, your mind starts to take control in order to, it's like binary code, almost like computerize it. In my life, I've had moments with in my own journey. So, for example, I recently have been struggling with my intuition and my ego because of conversations I've been needing to have with my parents. Um, as we all, as well, not necessarily all, but many of us grow up with peers or parents or older siblings, and sometimes you have negative experiences, and I happen to have some of those, and that's something that I've actively been working on. But I know that's very difficult to face and confront, especially if it happened to you when you were younger and it's, hurt your inner child, it's damaged you, you've held on to that negative energy and it's all like twisted you as it did myself. And so I knew I had to do this to work through it. But my ego would come in and he'd be like, no, 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 let's ignore that. Do something else. Let's go watch YouTube. Let's go play some video games. Go out for a walk. Kick a ball about. Anything other than to be sat still and to let these intuitive thoughts come through, and they'd always be about these conversations that I'm meant to have. So if you watching this are sat there and you have had these feelings come up and you keep on pushing them away, and you don't know why they keep coming up. Why is this person keep popping up into my head? I haven't spoken to them in a year. Or why is this situation from 5 years ago popped up in my head? That happened 5 years ago. I'm not bothered about that. Well, maybe you are, and you're just not consciously aware, but your subconscious is what's coming through, and your intuition is what's telling you to go get this sorted, because it's preventing you from moving forward in your journey. And yeah, and I would say I can give some advice on how to quiet the ego, and that would be, I mean, meditative practices are really good. Once you can, master your thoughts and your mind and your perceptions of things, that will really help you differentiate what's ego and what's intuition. Yeah, definitely some grounding work. Look into, chakras and all that, your lower chakras. That's good for grounding. And yeah, I hope something that I've said has helped you. And know that even though, sometimes we're faced with difficult conversations with people that we don't necessarily want to have these conversations with, it is part of our journey. And, all the good things are normally hard, or at least difficult to achieve. So bear that in mind. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.